Howdy doody, folks. This is Malcolm here. Back again with that 924 engine. I got a little carried away last time, did a little too much. We have to plasti-gauge all of these, so I got a little carried away last time and did too much. So this oil pickup sadly is gonna probably have to come off for a second. Maybe half of it's gonna have to come off. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It is a chilly day here in Southern California. Not one that many would expect, but a chilly one. It is very cold. I guess the whole global warming thing ain't no joke, huh? That was a joke. Yoki, yoki, yoke. Let's grab another glove. So, we're gonna have to at least release the top of this pickup. Torch out of the manual. Get the book. So we are looking at tolerances and wear limits. Okay, cool. So Amazon, 30 bucks. Honestly, I didn't even know this when I bought these, but I watched a video on them at the very end after I'd already bought these. It talks about how there's specific sizes, or the specific ones, like different engines will have different clearances for it. How do you do this? So what we are going to do is we are going to bust the cap off. But first, let's take this oil pickup off. Right here is going to be a didn't fall into the head, or didn't fall into the block. So, remove the oil pickup. So we will check the middle one first. And we'll completely clean the bearing out, the bearing shell itself. We better get clean. And then we take our piece of plasti-gauge. This thin piece of green wire here, if it's going to focus, probably won't. Thin piece of green wire, we're going to just cut off a tiny amount, just small enough to fit in the bearing. So, it's going to be that roughly. So, just a little baby piece of plasti-gauge. So small you probably can't even see it. It's like not even coming up. But this is the piece we'll use. Give her a swatch down to that. Come on, stay. That's sticky hand like this. Take our bearing cap back, make sure we are facing the correct way. We'll take our two nuts, torque her back down. What's that emoji? Alright, so you know the drill, 43 pounds, we've done this once before. So we already tapped the cap flat. We don't really want to have this thing like pulling itself on unevenly on one side or the other because we torque one side completely all the way. I don't know. I'm no expert mechanic, but I always apply the same principles when you tighten the tire up to everything else. Try not to tighten it all on one side at the same time. like when I fabricate stuff, it always messes it up when I do that. So, alright, so that's going to be number 3. Alright, pop this loose. She pulls off nice and happy. I have no real concerns that this isn't going to spec out. It turned over freely. It's more of just when I go to sell her, and for the peace of mind entirely, I like to say I'm a German like that. I like to do things the right way. So another one, cleaned up. Give a piece of our... And you really only need a tiny piece of it, you know. You don't need to be humongous. Humongous dongus. So, once again, don't be like me. Make sure you line up your bearing caps in the correct orientation. The numbers are going to want to go on the same side, top and bottom. If you don't do it the correct way, if you put your rod caps in the wrong way, it will not spin over correctly. It will not spin over freely. It won't be happy. And if it does, you're really unlucky, because then you're going to find out how unhappy it is when it runs. Thankfully, I've been lucky enough that everything I've done wrong has been caught, at least so far. Everything I know I've done wrong. Everything I know I've done wrong, I've caught before we put it all together. So it's been pretty easy to just come back and fix the small ones, or big ones. There's a lot of big ones. Fix them all, you know. But big strash mochi. But thankfully, we've been able to catch some definitely engine-killing mistakes. I will preface this as this is the first engine rebuild I've ever done in my life. Pepper only got new head gaskets because her rods and crank were fine. She just needed a reseal. I didn't really see the point of completely redoing it when she was running perfectly fine beforehand, so. So, that's torqued down. We'll go ahead and do this front one. That one's fighting a little bit more. I'll grab the persuader, just give her a tap tap. That's all she'll do, check them out right now. There she goes. What they found in Black Betty, oh Black Betty, oh Black Betty. Yep, so just cleaning up the bearings once again. Gonna cut myself a little piece of my fun little green taffy here. Shit. Don't put it right on the oil passage. You don't want that getting stuck down there. I will say, I'm not really following the correct torque specs while reassembling and untightening this. I'm not doing that because it's all going to have to be pulled again in a second to check the actual specs and then retighten. So I'm just going through, doing them all, tightening them all down, and then I'm going to unassemble them all and then retorque them all in the correct pattern as shown in the video before this or the same video. We'll see if we include the plasti-gauge in this video. So, let me switch sides. Here we are torquing down our cap. This would help if it was on. Then it could maybe do its job. So we've got that at 27. We'll get this to like 28. Then we'll get this to 43. 43.6. 43 on the nuts. Last one is the number 2 cap, if you're counting from the front back. So I'll pull our friend number 2 here. Rookie mistake. Always pull towards yourself. And like that, number 2 pulled off, nice and happy. Get her cleaned out. Do a little snippy snip. And you want to try and make sure it's lined up straight. See, the engine's running this way, my plasti-gauge little pieces are running this way. They're running along the line of the engine, the long ways. So, last one. And like that, well, bada bang, bada boom. Got those done. Next, we shall go ahead and pull the main caps off. He's like, no, come, you didn't check the other ones yet. Well, I know I didn't check the other ones yet, but I want to avoid potentially damaging this crankshaft by leaving those torqued down or untorquing this in the correct manner. So we're just gonna go one at a time. No, we're actually not going to do that. I thought about it again. The correct way to do this is going to be, let's check, since we didn't have the plastic gauges to start with, you should plastic gauge from the beginning, from the get-go, but we didn't have them in the get-go, so we are going to untorque these rod bolts and check our plastic gauges. So this will be the number 1 cylinder. And then it's going to be real hard for you guys to see, but there's an imprint. You can kind of see it right there. That imprint, you're going to use that thickness to line up on the gauges on this. There's a bunch of different clearances, so we need 0.2 to 0.7, I believe, for the millimeters on this. Let's see. If you look at it side by side, it looks like 0.51 is going to be the closest. 0.76 is way too thin. It's in between 0.51 and 0.38. Or sorry, 0.051 and 0.038 for our number 1 cap. So that is within spec. We are looking good. I'm going to take this down and take a photo of it just in case, but the camera didn't pick it up. But that is what you're looking for. You're going to use this and the little dot on the crank or the crank bearing cap, just to be safe. Just to be safe, we're going to measure this one too. This is also one of the, it's at the other side, you know what I'm saying? It's going to imprint on both sides. So we are looking for what this is going to fit. And it's looking like the 0.51 variety is probably the closest. 0.76 you could be, but you see you're pretty off there. I think 0.56 or 0.51 is pretty close. 0.38 is too fat. 0.51 is just right. And that's right where we need to be for clearances. So let me make sure that you guys actually saw all that and I wasn't just blubbering around. You guys didn't. It's a good thing. There we have it, 0.51. Because if you go to there, 0.38 is looking a little too big. That looks a little too chunky. Looking like 0.51's a pretty perfect fit. If you go up to 0.76, it's too thin. So that's how you know we're within spec. We're definitely in between 0.51 and 0.38 here. So happy with that. We are very happy with that. That tells us that the #1 rod is within spec. That's good news.